Based on a conversation I just had with somebody, I wanted to share some feedback. You know, I must have talked about relationships, I don't know, 1,000 times here just alone in this center, not to mention on the road and having written books and so forth about it. But we definitely have to consider creating more fulfilling relationships in our lives. But one of the categories most challenged when it comes to fulfilling relationships, and I mean, fulfilling relationships means that, one with God, one with ourselves, relationship, and one with others. But one of the most important essentials in our relationship with others has to do with intimacy. And I'm only talking briefly about this. We've done workshops and all that, but just some quick feedback around this topic of sexuality. You know, what? Did I hear a please? Okay. Okay. It kind of just slipped out. You know, I think somebody was like, please. No. Usually, when people talk about this topic, you know, it's the same, or they're selling something or promoting something. All I keep saying pretty consistently is we have to change our perceptions around all topics on earth. All topics. We're not making one topic better or worse. All topics have to be seen from different eyes. But from a human standpoint, sexuality is one of the more twisted ones, one of the more challenged ones. Given abuses, given that even Middle Ages, guys, the church kind of created this to be a challenged topic, you know, like prosperity, shaming the topic. So we have our fair share of challenges, and it doesn't help that there's so many inhibitions and abuses kind of projected onto this topic as well. And it doesn't help that people act so addictively when it comes to this topic. So it's strange because even when I speak up about hypersexuality, I believe people need to back off a bit. You know, it's about sacredness. So just in this brief tirade, I'm just saying, you know, lighten up, ease up, and we need to honor ourselves. We will never know how to share sacred sexuality with others if we do not have a sacred experience within ourselves first. If we don't have love and respect here, it's never going to look good out there. And we'll just continue blaming the world and blaming people and blaming partners for that which is unhealed within ourselves. So, yeah, right? An amen even. Look at that. And that's how we become a healthy example to others. It's by getting it, you know, right within ourselves. Now, I do find it sad and unfortunate, no offense and no stereotyping meant, but I do find it sad and, unfortunate that we so often hear about males being unhealthy. That's where a lot of the blame seems to go, and I understand that. You know, that too has to change. And I'm speaking in a sense to the guys here. If the topic is going to change and the stereotype and judgments about guys is going to change, somebody's got to start it. So I believe we have to learn to hold safer space for all human beings. Men and women, old and young, you know, all beings. Learning to be a safe being within ourselves and then bringing that to the world. I mean, to me, that's how this stuff changes. So we have to raise our integrity level, guys, so that people have and find a safer place to be themselves. So, and you know, I find it to happen a lot. You know, the sort of the blaming somebody about one's own wounds around sexuality. The blaming is not going to heal this topic. It's not going to help at all, and in fact, it makes it worse. Now, I know somebody who once said to me, Michael, I need to share this with you. I'm just having such a difficulty with sexuality and so forth. What's going on? I'm just fed up with spiritual teachers using me for sexuality. Yeah, well, wow, spiritual teacher, that's kind of a drag. But wait, how did it happen more than once and you didn't catch on? No, I mean, right? Wait, you just told me this keeps happening. So immediately we go into the guys who are not being nice, but I go, wait a second, something else is amiss here. Why do you keep doing that? So as much as we can and often say, guys, you know, need to be healthier, and I find guys that do that. The guys that are using like that, or usury oriented, I find that to be pretty shallow, to say the least. I don't dig it. I don't agree with it. I find it to be very shallow. There's just an addictiveness to it. However, I also would say to the gals involved, including guys and gals and gal relationships, you have to honestly, hear me please, patiently, stop being attracted to such guys. Stop finding, not just attracted, stop finding them attractive. Stop being attracted and finding characteristics about edgy, unavailable, oh, go ahead, narcissistic, go ahead. Go, would you like sociopaths? Great. We're having a history lesson over here. Wow. It's worse than I thought. The machoism, stop being attracted. Why are you attracted to it? Track it. Look inside. Because if you're attracted to it, you're enabling it and making it attractive to them to keep that behavior. Just, next line, learn to say no. And I had somebody say to me yesterday, well, a friend of mine, is, just met somebody and it's it's wonderful. This is a person who I've counseled because they had this propensity all through their life to jump in the sack. And so I've talked to this person and they've backed off on that and said, I'm gonna take time to grow healthiness and so on. Now they just met somebody new and I'm hearing the possibility that they did the same thing again. But they're different, is what I was told. That's what I was told. It's okay that they're jumping in the sack because they're different now. And I said, no, not if they're still doing the same thing. They got different a little bit. They worked on it and got a little shift going on, but they may have just ended up back in the same place. So you have to really be careful. I'm just going to end this here, but at the end of your life, when all is said and done, and you're on the other side, will you be able to say that you were better? Will you be able to say, I'm done, I'm not attracted to that? Now, if you do it like a person who's addicted, who says you don't, want or need that, and then do it again, you're a hypocrite. I'm talking about when you actually get it. When in mind, body, and soul, it's not an option. It's just not even there. Not, I wish it weren't there, and you're eating your nail, chewing your nails, and I'm not talking about when you pretend it's not there and you're anxious over it. There's a point when you just realize enough is enough. And you can do that in one of two ways, guys and gals. One of two ways, the easy way or the hard way. You either come to so much pain, so many sociopaths, so many psychopaths, so many narcissists that you go, wait, why am I even attracted to? And there's all kinds of reasons. Oh, I'm attracted to narcissists. Why? Oh, I get it. I like confident guys. It's a false confidence, so you're wrong for being attracted to them. So what you're really telling me is you're attracted to dysfunction. Why is that? Let's look at it, uproot it, toss it. I know, you want to testify too over there, but several of you. So I will say this. This gal said to me in that conversation I was sharing earlier, I said, what she needs to do, if you're trying to prove to me that this person's healthier, now this new partnership, then let's see if she can make it a few months without intimacy. The answer was, well, that's asking a lot. That's asking a lot. Why is that asking a lot? Well, because it's difficult. People get lonely, and so you're not healed if you're allowing that to still drive you. And let me just explain, in case you don't know this, the type of people that would be attracted to you when they know you're going to put out in 3.5 hours isn't great anyway. We've known each other 3 hours now. Clearly we're over the, right? Woo! That's, oh man. Yeah. That's how deep or shallow of a person you're going to get. Based on how quickly you'll sell yourself out, that's the depth of being you're going to get. So we all have to take a bit more responsibility. And when I said, no, they can wait a few months, and to know that you're getting a healthy guy. It's a guy that wouldn't be pushing. Or a guy who's avoidant of sex himself, and that's worth looking at. But it's a guy that maybe pushing is not maybe healthy. And you know what I heard? You show me a guy that's willing to wait 3 months.
Then he's not worth it.
Right. How unusual for you to be speaking up about this. And you know what? What I was able to say is I know guys that I've met in this room that are the type that could easily do that. So I know it's not only possible, it is. It's here, it happens. I've met such guys, and the guys in this room, we need to be more like that. And guys and gals, if it means you don't get lucky as often because you're devoting to your healthiness, so be it. I mean, what are you going to give me an argument about that? How could you even come up with a healthy argument against the idea of wait and invest in yourself?
They're Peter Pans.
Go ahead. Please explain.
Yes, Peter Pan is somebody that you get involved with. You don't have sex with them for 6 months, and then you marry them, and then you don't have sex.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Peter Pan. You have to be careful of Peter Pans.
The Peter Pan who shows interest and then gone. Sometimes mentally, sometimes emotionally, sometimes sexually. So you know what you got? You got human beings and they got problems. So we need to grow relationships and get to know each other. Because if you and I get together and I'm a Peter Pan type of stereotype, archetype, you'll get to know that about me. And if we grow the relationship, we'll work this out together so you can help me heal that part of me. Why else are we together? We're not here just to get lucky. And if you go by those standards, man, go to Vegas. You'll have a lot better odds. But honestly, if we're going to do this, get the deeper healing. Get to the deeper healing. And it doesn't matter if it's gay or straight relationships. It's all the same. Watch for the patterns and talk about them. It's only when a partner doesn't want to talk about, refuses to talk about, doesn't want to heal, refuses to heal or grow, that I might have to say I'm done. But just because we're together doesn't mean, and there's issues, means it's hopeless. That's what we're here to do, is work on stuff. So we work on what they bring up in us, patterns and such, and we also show enough love and patience to work on them and be together. We're here to grow together, not just to get stuff from each other. It's when they're refusing to even note that there's a pattern of hypersexuality, Peter Pan syndrome, or whatever it happens to be. That's when I would say you have a really good argument to say maybe there's too much water under the bridge and you move on. But you don't move on as though you're holier than thou. You move on, and did you or did you not get your lessons from this? So you can learn the easy way or the hard way, and the hard way is, again, those challenging, beating up kinds of relationships, karmic relationships. But there is an easier way, which is just to say, you know what? Not because I feel beat up again, just because it makes sense. I think I'd like to work on myself. Just because it makes sense. I think I'm going to say no because it feels right to just take some time off from that. So there's whole talks, there's whole workshops and all that on the topic. I'm just reiterating, and again, for the sake of whomever here that happens to need it, apparently it's several, but all things are perceived either from God or from the ego. I have no neutral thoughts. And sexuality is one that's so riddled with ego, it's sad and it's tragic, but it doesn't have to remain like that. So we devote to a greater healing, and we do our blissful work, and we do our prayers and mantras and chanting, whatever, but we also, on a practical level, have to make different decisions. Girls and guys, please stop being attracted and finding attractive dysfunctional behaviors. Someone has to say no. But if you're still attracted to dysfunctional behaviors, don't blame those people that keep hurting you. Ask yourself why it's even intriguing, and think about walking away from that kind of behavior. Okay? Yes, dear?
I just want to make one comment. It's all through the media. It's all through stories and films.
Yeah.
It's ingrained in us.
Yes.
Very young. What is supposed to be attractive, what is not attractive, and not.
Right. The media and the world promotes this idea of what is attractive. For example, hot sex, scenes like, oh, and there's men and women enjoying that like, wow, look at the passion of that scene. This dysfunctional, voyeuristic concept in us, consciousness in us. Wow, sometimes it feels emotionally stimulating, sometimes physically, but where's that coming from? Because I've said this many times, in the yogic tradition, hot sex, the word hot, is synonymous with the same word shallow. So that which seems so hot and inviting in a scene in a movie is synonymous with the word shallow. Does that seem exciting? Because if it does, you need years of therapy. Oh, I can't wait. That's what I want. Really? Shallow, no consciousness, Wow. We have work to do, man. So we've got if not us, then who? And if not now, when are we going to change this? So let's do our best to encourage, not what the media tells you that world's supposed to look like. They're wrong. And the word wrong, some people have a hard time with that. When we hear the word sin, it actually means error. And so when once upon a time, we're like, we don't want to hear the word sin anymore. Well, wait, get the right interpretation. When we allow ourselves to believe in anything other than God would have us believe, such as our own value, we are technically sinning or what? Making a mistake. Now, don't defend it, don't hide from it, don't pretend it ain't happening. You are wrong. You made a mistake to think that you're less than valuable. So what you do is you switch it. I do have value. And if you have value, again, please, I can't even express enough how dysfunctional it is to be attracted to dysfunction. It plants seeds, it enables, it makes it grow. Somebody's got to stop it, and we have to learn to say no. And if it means getting lucky a little less often, so be it. To thine own healthy self be true. All right, thanks for listening to that. You're welcome. That's not a rant, that's a tirade.